Good morning everyone and welcome back to Mr. Bravo's workshop. We finished the ship off yesterday and just we never really got these planes done. Now when I say finished off, there's a little bit of rigging to be done and just bits and pieces, but I'm going to do a separate video on the rigging. And we do have to do these planes, so I'm going to crack on with these planes and get them ready. So there's our pretty simple basic plan to put it all together. And I'm going to make two of them. So I'll cut the pieces off and clean them up. Well, there's all my pieces cleaned up, and there's two sets of planes here, one on the left and one on the right. So I'll start to put them together. So there we have the flotation ballast on there, on the wings. Whatever you want to call them, that's what I'm going to call them. So I noticed that the end of this engine, which is supposed to look like an engine with all the exhaust hanging out of it, the moulding has got them all stuck together. So I've cleaned one up and it came out like this. Kind of came out like this. It wasn't perfect, but at least you can kind of see it now that it does need dusting off and whatever else, but at least the little exhausts are all there now. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to paint this one black, and then I might come through with some of that silver stuff and paint that silver. I'm probably going to paint the prop black and then come back with a little bit of yellow, and the rest of the plane I'm probably going to do in green. There's the two rear wings on, and I currently have the engine in the black and also the prop. There it is with one of the wheels on. I'll have to let that dry before I fiddle with it anymore. Well, the wheels need a little bit of work, but there they are with the wheels on and the rear wing. And I can't put these together yet because I'm going to fit the motor in it first. But I will paint these all separately, and then I'll fit the motor in afterwards. One thing I'm also doing is filing these wheels from, quite a lumpy shape into something that's a bit more rounded and that'll look probably half decent. The rest of it, a bit hard to tell actually with this see-through glass, the plastic. But there it is. I'm going to fix up the other wheel like I said, and I'll come back. So there's one wheel. I'll spin it around. And there is the other. And I'll bring the other one in and I'll show you what it did look like. So there are the wheels, and as you can see they're quite crappy looking, so they just need a little extra work before painting. I'm going to undercoat these because I'm not happy about the see-through plastic. I did dip the engine and it's taken quite a long time to take even black, so yeah, they need undercoating. By the way, I'm sure you've seen this. I was joking around with this for the chain. On the chain, no good, but these little wheels, yeah, little nail file, fantastic. So there is this one ready to go to be undercoated. Certainly looks a bit better than what it did before. The wheels, a bit more noticeable now as wheels. So we'll go over to the undercoating bench and we'll get these some undercoat. Well, there they are, stuck down, ready for some paint. I'll put the first layer on. There's our first dust coat / paint, or coat of paint. There's the next coat. We'll let them dry and we'll turn them around so we can do the other side. There's the underside exposed and ready for paint. There's the other side painted. And I got to tell you, I kind of like the grey on these. I'm considering spraying a little bit on the tips of the wings and just leaving them the way they are. I am. But there's all our parts undercoated. I think what we might do, see, I'm waiting for the other stuff to dry, which is the engines and that. I've got to fit the engine in this. I kind of really like the grey though. So I'm just sort of hand putting these together. I'm just thinking to myself, can I get away with the grey? I don't see why not. Maybe I'll spray a little bit of dark just on the wings here, like a little tiny circle patch or something. Or I could spray the underwing dark and then add on top. That'd look nice. Actually, I do like that. Let's do that. So there's my planes painted and in its own camouflage, and it looks a little darker in person than it does in real life. So I just pretty much just painted the tips just to give it a bit of splash of colour. Tips on the wings, a little bit across the body there, and just a little bit on the nose. Just to sort of make them look a little different. I might hit this with the accent black. There's a fair bit of detail in these as it is. So I'm thinking if I hit this with the accent black, whatever that is on top, I don't know. Don't really know about that one. I've already put the paint away too, so I may come back and just touch that up with the brush. Anyway, there they are. I'm just going to hit them up with a bit of black now on the tyres and that, and might even put a bit of black on the roof now. There's some black on there already. There's no rules to say you can't. Well, am I happy about the roof? Not really, but they are tiny, tiny planes. There was that black dot, which I don't know where it came from, and well, the only way to really get around it was to paint them black. So we'll just let those dry off. Just did the wheels basically and that. I mean, these are so small, you're not going to really notice anything else. I can see my hand painting is not as good as the airbrushing. Now let's see if we can fit the motor. There's a couple of daubs of glue in here. Nothing too spectacular. Turn the motor over. And is that on? I hope so. It's one. Get the other one. Couple of daubs of glue. Grab the motor. Turn it around that way. Okay. Sorry about that. So there's the motor on, but what I might do, and I probably should have done this before I glued them on, but I might come back with a little bit of metal silver in here and just put a bit of metal silver on there. There's a bit of engine metal on there. You know, from a distance, you're probably not going to tell anyway. There it is without it. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. So they're both painted now. I do have some props just down here. And I think what I might do is I'll just put the traditional yellow on the tips. That's what I think. So there's the props with very tiny little yellow tips on it. So I think what I'll do now is I'll just let it all dry and then I'll put them all together, I suppose. And then just to knock off that tarnish look, we might just put a bit of varnish on there just to make it match the rest of the ship. Well, there's the wings and the motor and everything all together. I'll get on and put the props on shortly. Well, there's the propellers on. Yeah, not much yellow on there, but just enough to sort of say, yes, I'm there. And to be honest with you, the props in this are absolutely huge. I mean, it wouldn't be physically possible to fly these. But anyway, They're looking alright, I suppose. And the whole idea of the grey is to kind of hide them a little bit in the ship. I was going to do them in the dark green, but the dark green with the rest of the camouflage would stick out too much, and I don't want that. Well, there they are glued together. I'll just let them go off for a little bit, and then I'll probably give them a light coat of the flat or the matte varnish. I was just looking at the planes. I think they could be a little bit out of scale to the ship. I'm just not sure. They look alright, but yeah, I'm looking at the ship, I'm looking at the planes going, gee, that's a big plane. But I don't know. Well, there they are finished. I did give them a coat of matte varnish just to make them match the rest of the ship. The matte varnish with the water-based paints, it just does something to the paint that just lifts it. A bit like clear on a car. So yeah, just it just brings it up another level. I mean, these are tiny compared to my fingers, so yeah. And there they are on the ship. There's one, and there's the other. They do kind of look a little out of scale. I mean, there it is on top. I do like the way they look, and I did not really want them to look too bright, which is why I went the lighter colours. So there we have it. It's quite busy down the back there now with those in there, with the cranes, I think. Happy with the cranes. With that elastic cabling, these cranes are adjustable, so I can bring them up or down. I may even hang one off the back of that end crane. But there we have it. So if I go out, yeah. I haven't done these yet because I'm still trying to work out what I'm going to do. I mean, I do want to use the chain, but I'm wondering how I'm going to attach it and make it look good. So now that everything else is done, like the little planes and everything, I think I might just do that one tomorrow.